Hi lovelies, and welcome to the Witch's Cookery. If you look up how to start your spiritual journey or how to get into a spiritual routine here on YouTube, you will find a plethora of videos filled with lemon juice chugging, meditating, yoga, stretching, chakra aligning, crystal polishing and gratitude journaling beauties, praising the many benefits of their routine to enlightenment. And while these activities are surely beneficial, healthy and or fun, they might just not be your cup of tea or add any value to your personal daily life. So this is not the 5003rd video repeating the same advice over and over, but we are going to do a slightly different take on the entire topic, and I would like to share some of my thoughts, ideas and tips and tricks on the topic of developing a spiritual routine and finding your authentic spirituality within. A spiritual practice that fits your personal needs, wants, ability and is ideally also something that you want to keep up with on a somewhat regular level to reap its many benefits. But first things first, what even means spiritual? The word has two definitions. One, relating to or affecting the human spirit or soul as opposed to material or physical things. And number two, relating to religion or religious belief. So depending on your personal take on things, to you it can mean one of those or both at the same time. Personally, being a secular witch, my spiritual routine and journey does not involve religious views, beliefs or practices, but my spiritual practice encompasses all things that make my soul soar, bring me joy and healing and further self-discovery and connection with something bigger. In my case, that is nature, the universe and interpersonal connections. So a spiritual routine describes a set of activities you do to nurture your spirit or soul or to connect with your higher self or a higher entity. And how that looks like is obviously highly personal because we are all individual beings with our own set of needs, beliefs and baggage. If you are starting out on your spiritual journey, the most important first step is therefore to get to know yourself on a deeper level and dig deep into what makes you tick, what your understanding of life and the world around you is, and what makes you sad, happy and everything in between. And that is what spirituality in itself is already for a big part about. So while doing so, you are already practicing it. As holistic beings, we have to nurture our body and mind, but also our spirit to stay happy and healthy. It definitely is a task to maintain the balance and put our energy equally into all three aspects, as life, as we all know, can be quite busy. But if you pay attention, you can feel when the balance is off, as it can manifest in physical illness, suffering, mental health, unhappiness, stress, anger, frustration, burnout, or general discontentment with life. We often don't make time for our spirituality because we deem it not as important, and let's be honest, keeping atop your bodily and mental well-being is already quite a task in itself. But staying dedicated can bring many benefits to living a joyous, authentic and meaningful life. You can eat healthy, care for your mind, but still find something lacking, and that is where spirit comes into play. Your inner child, your higher self, the version you aspire to be, the version you lost in the struggles of every day. Or if you look at the religious meaning, a higher purpose for existing than just a hamster wheel of life. The first step is to acknowledge spirituality as something that is natural to the human being and that is something we should pay mind to. We are all spiritual beings that crave some sense of understanding or connectedness in varying degrees. Our spirituality can be super influential on our intrinsic sense of self, happiness, growth and contentment. So carving out time and energy to practice it is definitely important. Stop feeling guilty about caring for yourself and your spiritual wellness. Nobody does it for you, it is your responsibility. You wouldn't expect your car to miraculously run without fuel, unless of course you drive electric. So why would you expect your body, mind and soul run without fuel and maintenance? But what activities can you typically include into your life and spiritual routine? Well, that is looking different from person to person, and the list of activities really is much longer than what is typically portrayed and labeled as spirituality. Yes, prayer, chakras, meditation, mindfulness, tarot, gratitude practices, various pseudosciences like astrology or numerology can very much be part of your spiritual journey, but they are also not the end-all be-all. You can be a highly spiritual person without doing any of those by finding activities and beliefs that are authentic to you and feed your spirit. As I said before, a spiritual routine is there to serve your soul. So you need to ask yourself what serves you in your life, what are you lacking, what do you want more of, what does you good. Dare to free your mind from spiritual stereotypes. Take a step off the trodden paths and have a look at your life. What are you currently doing that brings you joy, or what comes natural? What makes your inner child happy? What gives you healing, purpose or direction? What connects you to your authentic self? Cooking, dancing, gathering knowledge, learning, reading, philosophy, self-discovery, sitting in the sun, connecting with a community, turning towards spiritual or religious scriptures, hugging trees, and so many more things can help here. What do you care about deeply? What is important to you on a level that is non-materialistic, the desires close to your heart that have nothing to do with having material goods? Things like connectedness, having a purpose in life, finding meaning in what you do, becoming the best version of yourself, doing good for yourself and others, serving a higher purpose, and so on. Once you know what you're striving for, you then can look into activities that will help you on that journey. And those are activities that you can make part of your spiritual journey too. And personally, I also feel that spirituality is about listening to your inner child, that pure soul and life spirit that hides in every one of us from the struggles, responsibilities and chores of everyday adult life. And sometimes that child is hiding quite well if we allow all the greyness of being an upstanding member of society take over too much. Finding your pure spirit and spiritual needs is in some ways returning to the essence of who we are as a person before life happened. Often people comment under my videos how that now that they're newly on their spiritual journey, they rediscover old joys and hobbies or interests from their childhood that got lost over the years, and that they are now picking up again as part of their spirituality, as it makes them feel connected, or because it feels freeing and uplifting to them. As per definition, spirituality also means opening your mind and heart to something deeper within or something bigger than yourself outside, depending on your personal belief. So that can mean serving your higher self, worshipping or praying to a higher entity like God, God's nature, the universe, or whatever speaks to you, or serving certain ethics. In my spiritual practice, nature plays a huge important part, as I take so much inspiration from seasonal changes, life cycles, and enjoy the many benefits of what living in a green natural environment brings. Fresh air to clear my head after a long day, sitting by the river meditating and letting my worries wash away with the stream, the fresh local produce that nourishes my body and is grown from hard work and with love for our land. So naturally, my spirituality also includes a certain worship or connection to the natural world around me. And while I am not religious, in my spiritual practice, personal ethics take the place of a higher entity or being. With that I mean that your personal convictions of what you believe is important in life and in your own journey can become part of a spiritual routine and manifest in actions. This is a great way to incorporate little acts and lifestyle choices into your daily life that nourish your spirit too, and with some practice or resourcefulness don't take up much time at all. For me, that means being mindful in what I buy and consume, as these are still two of the biggest factors that can harm the environment greatly when done mindlessly. And I'm always excited when I find a product or company that shares those values, and VIVAIA, who are kindly sponsoring today's video to get the very important message out, is one of those brands. They produce a beautiful variety of shoes and bags made from plastic waste that they had fished out of the ocean and then recycle into some sort of plastic string that is made into footwear. Sounds super weird and somewhat uncomfortable, but their shoes are flawless and so soft and lovely to wear. In my Greenwich winter video, you already saw the cute foraging booties and knee-highs, and now in the summer I do enjoy their comfortable slip-ons, mainly those elegant slippers and these stylish pink sneakers. Oh, and I also got a bag, the Ocean Heart, symbolizing their mission to help poor fishies and seagulls to not die strangulated in some plastic shopping bag. This summer they came out with a new material, shoes made from hemp, which is also awesome as this is a super environmentally friendly material. It requires no fertilizer and is therefore carbon negative. And I have super broad hobbit feet, the size of little birds, so usually pointy shoes are a pain in the rear, but these are designed in a way to fit even a wide foot, as the tip is slightly differently aligned and the material is wonderfully soft, somewhat similar to cotton fiber, so you don't have to squeeze your bunions to look like a lady. Neat. Also, I have the gross habit of not wearing any socks and shoes. Sorry, I'm not sorry. So with most other slippers you buy in a store, they will at some point start to smell, especially in summer. Not least though, hemp is naturally antimicrobial and moisture wicking, which is why it's also highly used as military marching equipment. So if it keeps the boys from smelling smelling like pumas, it will also keep my feet smelling like peaches and cream. Of course, as great as the material is for banishing any type of smells, it doesn't save it from getting dirty, and as a big fan of barefoot walking and earthing, I do tend to take them through the ringer in that aspect. But luckily, these are machine washable, ideal for a lazy slump like me. Just toss them in and they come out as new. And another thing, if you enjoy barefoot walking too, you can just fold them up and put them in your bag, so you don't have to walk around with shoes in your hand. Now you have your hands free for wildflower picking. I put the link in the description box if you want to do something for the environment and get yourself a new pair of lovely shoes in the process. With the code VITCHES15 you will get 15% off any item on the website, and this can be even applied if they are running a flash sale or other campaign. Finding ways like this to make your spiritual beliefs flow naturally into your everyday brings you so much closer to not only practicing spirituality at set times, but naturally living a spiritual life. Next to including those choices, little acts or lifestyle ideas into your daily routine, of course there are also mindfully dedicated activities that form a spiritual routine. It is a common misconception that a routine always has to look the same each day, but it doesn't have to be rigid and repetitive at all. In fact, if you think about it, that might not even serve you in the best way possible. Not every day is the same, neither is your mood, availability or need. So with the idea in mind that your spiritual routine should bring you benefits every day, you might need to adjust it according to circumstances, goals or even seasons. Of course, it is beneficial to have more or less of an idea or structure that works for you, or a repertoire of activities that you know will benefit you in certain situations. When you are just starting out on your spiritual journey, you might be very excited and want to incorporate as much as possible into your daily life at once, but it is also important to remember that habits that should stick do require patience, persistence, and it doesn't serve you to overwhelm yourself and then drop everything because it's too much or eats up a lot of time or makes you neglect other things. Start with one or two small things and try to do them every day. If you skip a day, pick them up again. Give yourself time to explore the benefits it has to your life and practice over a long time, and keep going even if it's hard and doesn't give immediate results. Sometimes you have to persevere a bit, break old habits, try something new to learn and discover something new within us. And once the chosen activity has become a habit and part of your life, you can incorporate the next thing. And like that, you are slowly building a spiritual routine that enriches your life in the most magical way. And also remember that it's okay to drop things. If you have tried something but figure out that it's really not for you, scratch it. Just because it helps someone else doesn't mean it will do the same for you. In order to see how a spiritual routine can work for you, it is also helpful to know how you work. Are you someone that works best with structured activities scheduled into your calendar, or do you wing it as you go? Do you enjoy flexibility or predictability? Apply your routine in a similar fashion. Schedule time for ritual or chosen activities, or find little acts and ways to weave it into your everyday without much effort. Stay mindful of how you feel. Are you taking good care of your spirit and soul, or dedicating enough time to your religious practice? And see if you're feeling happy with it, or if you need to step up your spiritual game in order to keep the right balance. While a spiritual routine is there to feed your spirit, soul or heart, it can and will of course also have a direct relation to how your body and mind are feeling, and vice versa. Being kind to body and mind can make your spirit happy and open your energy capacities up for indulging in more spiritual activities as your cup is full in other aspects, so it frees up more time for your spirituality. As holistic beings, we are very much affected and influenced on multiple levels simultaneously through every decision we make, action we take or thought we have. So those green smoothie drinking spiritual gurus on YouTube might be onto something after all. A spiritual routine might very well include activities that in first instance influence your body or your mind and not directly your soul, but through their symbiotic character nurture your spirit too. The intention you set behind the activity is what makes it a spiritual or mundane act in the end. Take food for example. As a kitchen witch, my spiritual weapon of choice. I strive to not only feed my body but also my soul by stirring, kneading or baking intention into the food I prepare. And we also know that different types of food have a different effect on us, simply through what nutritious value they have or how they affect blood sugar levels. The general consensus on the topic in all other spirituality videos seems to be that a pork chop naturally vibrates energetically lower than a leafy green salad, and therefore in order to be a spiritual superhero and vibrate as vigorously as a Hitachi wand, you should eat your veggies. Now, see, that is where beliefs differ. No doubt, after eating pork chop, which is greasy and takes about a whole more energy to digest, you will feel more tired than after nibbling on spinach leaves. However, I love some of the greasy, unhealthy, sugary type of dishes, and preparing them with love and care makes my soul sing. The expression soul food very much applies here in a literal sense. So, while eating well with mindfully picked ingredients is part of my health journey, eating indulgently from time to time is part of my spirituality practice. So you see, there can be different theories about different topics, and you have to get to a point where you know yourself well enough to decide what works best for you. Also, to get back to the point I was making, nourish your body in a way that serves you and nourish your mind in a way that serves you well, and see if it also stands in correlation with your spiritual beliefs or practice. What is part of your own spiritual routine, and how have you started on your spiritual journey? Feel invited to share your wisdom in the comments down below. I wish you a magical day, and I'll see you soon.